Hello, my friends. Welcome to Sastek. So, welcome to the second video. In the last video, we have learned about the RDBMS and the database basics. So, in this video, we are going to learn about Oracle database architecture. Okay, so in the architecture, first we have to learn about the architecture components. So, there are a lot of different components in the architecture. So, first we need to understand what are those components. And then after understanding this, we can proceed further and understand that how the Oracle database works. So the first component is client. So what is client? So client is basically different nodes onto the network. So if you understand this, like if the Oracle database is installed on over the network, then definitely the Oracle will be installed on a particular server. And then with that server there will be so many clients that will be connected, and then from those clients all those users will be sending the connection requests and will be sending the query requests, and the server will be returning the results based on the request by the client. Okay, so onto the server we have some different components like listener. So listener is something like a gateway onto the server. Listener is continuously running on the server and it is listening for the requests from the different clients. And based on those requests, listener will be interacting with the database and creating the instances. So these are the main three components of the server, that is listener, database, and instance. Okay, so let's move next and we'll try to understand this in detail. So first clients, so we have different nodes in the clients. So each different nodes will have a different connections onto the Oracle database, and each client will be sending a connection request or it will be sending the queries for their results. These requests will go to the server. As discussed earlier, listener is working like a gateway here. So whatever requests are coming from the clients to the server, it will be going via the listener. And listener will analyze whether it is a connection, whether it is a new connection request or a query request. Based on that, it will be interacting with the instance. So instance is nothing but the memory or the process. So whenever a new connection request come to the listener, so what listener does, it creates a new process or a new instance, new Oracle instance, and with that instance, it will interact with the database. Okay, so in the instance we have a server process. So for each connection with from the client, the listener will create a new server process, and that server process will be interacting with the database. So in the database, we have data files and system files, because all those data are stored in files. All the data in the database are stored in the files, but we cannot read those data because they are in encrypted format. We can only read those data via the queries from the clients. Okay, and okay, so just to talk more about a little more about the listener. What is this listener? Listener is actually running like a service onto the server. So it is continuously running. So what happens is all the clients are connected with the server with the TCP protocol. So TCP is a protocol, is a network protocol. So we'll learn this TCP protocol in some other videos, but just to give a brief, it creates a connection, and on the server the TCP is always running on a particular port number, and client will be sending connection request and the query request to particular port number on that server. That's how the listener will understand that some request has come to server. So what happens is when the client sends a connection packet, means connection request to the listener, then listener will create a new server process. It means it will create a new instance, new Oracle instance for that particular connection. And that process or that instance will keep interacting with the database here. Okay. Similarly, when the connection is created successfully, the clients will keep sending the queries, queries request. So in the queries request, what will happen? The client will prepare some queries for the data, and those queries will be passed to listener. Okay, so client will be sending the query requests. So those queries are basically created by the client machines or the users based on what type of results they want. And those queries request will be sent to listener. Listener will send that to particular instance that was created during the creating the connection, and then it will interact with the database based on the queries and prepare the result, and then the result will be sent back to the listener, and listener will send those results to the client. So that's how it will keep working. Whenever a client or whenever a user want, wants some data, it will keep sending the queries, and then listener will be receiving those queries and getting the results from the database and sending it back to the client, and that's how it will keep working. So that is the basic of Oracle database architecture. So in the next video, we will install the Oracle database onto a Windows machine. Till then, thank you, goodbye, see you in the next video.